Hi, welcome to the Crypto Republic. Before we begin today, if you're serious about staying ahead in this once-in-a-lifetime financial shift, make sure you like this video, drop a comment, and subscribe to the Crypto Republic. Hello, XRP Army, and welcome back to your go-to channel for the latest tiny updates in digital assets. Before we get started with today's business, make sure to smash that like button, ring that bell, and subscribe to the Crypto Republic. We bring in you updates every day at noon and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just a reminder, this video is for educational purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own research. Stay with me, because this is information that nobody else is connecting yet. Before we break this down, I want to thank everyone who takes the time to like, subscribe, comment, and share these videos. Your support helps get this information in front of more people and allows me to keep bringing these deep dive, high-value insights to the crypto community. So I thank you again. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the big issue XRP holders must know. Ladies and gentlemen, XRP holders, there's a big issue in the market right now, and a lot of people are overlooking it. There's not much noise around it, but we are 100% focused because it concerns control over crypto and who will be the voice of reason in this industry. For over 6 years, the crypto community has been building towards this moment, especially now that the SEC lawsuits is behind us, which was a major obstacle for XRP. Who was behind the lawsuit? Big banks, players from ETHgate. My take, the big banks definitely wanted to hold XRP and Ripple back. They were terrified of the tech, and honestly, even today, the fear hasn't disappeared whatsoever. Let this sink in, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's talk about the market structure bill, because we are counting down to the markup on the 15th. This bill addresses token classification, stablecoin regulation, exchange oversight, and compliance. This is a very big deal for the space, but here's the thing. It's currently overshadowing the Genius Act. Let's talk about Bank's first blockchain, the Genius Act battle. Back in December, Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, called reopening the Genius Act a red line. He explained that banks are trying to undo parts to slow blockchain adoption and protect their traditional business model. Armstrong believes this isn't about safety, it's about blocking competition. He predicts that banks will eventually switch sides once they see the profit of using blockchain rails. Summer Merging, CEO of the Blockchain Association, also noted that banks were flat-footed in response to stablecoin rewards. If an exchange offers better returns, banks can't compete, and now they want to cut off DeFi. The powerhouse driving crypto adoption for years, ladies and gentlemen. The big banks can't stop us, ladies and gentlemen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, sorry I couldn't be with you yesterday. I was traveling for business. Some of the people that retain our organization and myself want to hear things first person besides them, their offices, and the families that they represent. And they're extremely private. Why this bill is so important about control and the future. In China, the digital version of the renminbi or the yuan offers yield. Could you imagine if they undo some of this, that you can't get yield? Yield can't be offered, yet our direct competition is offering yield on their digital product. When we have gone over on other rants, and if everybody's new here, you're going to have to go back to some of my other rants to see where we were with the map, with everything else, okay? So welcome. What kind of good interpretation or logic would it be to undo something that would stop the U.S. stablecoins' competitive advantage when U.S. stablecoins are the continuation of selling treasuries? That's like saying, gee, I want to go on vacation and the pilot of the airplane was drinking the next night. Who would get on that plane? I wouldn't. But that's really what that's like. So that's really what's at stake. And you have to ask yourself this: is the greed of certain individuals and groups and powerful lobbyists and sections of the economy more important than the survival of the U.S. Treasury? So think about this, and I really don't care, and we'll cut through the minutia, right? We'll cut through the minutia. Remember, truth is treason, the empire of lies. Truth is treason, the empire of lies. We'll cut through the minutia. The bottom line, if the digital renminbi over in China gives you yield, how can we not have yields here on the U.S. side of the tranche? That is the main event of this. I don't need to go any further or talk about this. It comes down to that one main event. That is the main event right there. In our opinion, right, and what I believe that this passes because someone's going to have a hard time explaining this of why one constituency, banks, get to preserve a business model that is only slowing down adoption for the future to protect their profits when it jeopardizes the entire stablecoin regime. U.S. Treasury continuation of selling because you're not going to see other foreign countries buying U.S. Treasuries with the world right now, okay? Or back giving the power of where we're going for our destiny to somewhere else. I can't see that happening. Another thing I want to touch upon, ladies and gentlemen, right? And everybody who's in the premium section of the Patreon and Tips in the Pits will hear my entire rant and everything quite like this, okay? You'll hear me say this about a lot too. Rebalancing from the Bloomberg Index is coming next week, okay? Now, I like to get out of all my speculative longs, right? And this is something that was drilled into my head from the floor of the pits. And everyone's learning here how to become financial mercenaries with us and in the wolf pack. So do join up and do learn tips from the pits of everything we learn, because it's not about being very sexy or popular. It's about putting returns and alpha in your account to better your own life where the world is going. Self-empowerment is the most important. The recce, the plan, everything about that self-empowerment, okay? It was drilled into my head that I'm done. I'm out of my speculative longs January 15th. January 5th, January 5th, I'm out, okay? The easy money, in my opinion, is made between November and January 1st, okay? Buying season continues to the end of February, right? But as far as I'm concerned, you can have some serious issues after January 5th because of rebalancing. And that's when, it becomes, buy the rumor, sell the fact. And, you don't want to get cut up like sushi and the old adage of pigs get slaughtered while hogs get fatter. We can see after January 15th, moves 10% higher, 10% lower, but I'm not looking to, risk this, and I don't want to be handcuffed to something, right? And, so again, everybody who's in the premium version of the Patreon, you're going to hear me drill down upon this and why the mechanics, but that was law of when we're out for spec longs, okay? It's just not worth it as far as I'm concerned, right? Why I touched upon truth is treason in the empire of lies. When the rebalancing comes, do you think the people telling us news are telling you the real news? Stop for a second. I want to hear from you in the comments. Do you think the people in the news are telling us the real news, what's good for them or what's good for you? Let this sink in for a second, okay? Jesse Livermore figured this out, why he talked about position sizing, how small it's got to be, speculation. Remember, it's an occupation, profession, right? Well, some word on the street and some big banks, what they believe is when the index reshuffles, right, rebalances, they'll be selling silver, selling gold, selling aluminum. What they're going to be buying, right? Again, this is not financial advice, okay? This is just my opinion. Going to be buying oil, not gas, and my favorite, cocoa. Cocoa is such a phenomenal trade. It really, really is. But again, this is just what it is. So they're telling you one thing to benefit them. They're not telling you something to benefit you. Hence, truth is treason, empire of lies, about crop reports, all these other things. You learn these nifty things, right? But again, you're here learning about XRP and you want to learn to become a financial mercenary to basically take care of yourself going forward, to empower yourself, right? I mean, at the end of the day, okay? So when you look at all these things, what's happening and why, that is why we get out our spec longs the 5th, okay? Can always get back in, but to me, the easy money, the easy pickings are made from November to January 1st. It's very easy to go back in at those points and just start picking things out. It's just not worth the risk and the aggravation of everything's going to go, okay? So getting back to what people are talking about and where this is going and why, ladies and gentlemen, there's something else I want to point out about XRP ETFs and ETFs abroad. And a lot of people also think there's going to be a big selling in the silver ETFs when the Bloomberg rebalancing comes. That's going to put other pressure on. And why the pressure goes down is we believe that there's a full-blown paper move and a full-blown physical move. And what you're seeing right now with the United States seizing oil tankers and what they're doing, selling that oil at market price, remember what I told you already about the AI situation, the AI war, the AI conflict. It's a conflict over energy. It's a kilowatt war. It's over kilowatts, okay, energy. If you don't have access to cheap energy, you cannot fuel this, okay? China just got cut off of a lot of energy that they needed. They're going to get kneecapped from this, okay? Whether that's right or wrong, I'm not about this. I'm here to be your guide, to take you what we see, what I convey to family offices, funds of people that retain our organization in any capacity. And when I got to do all my traveling this week to go talk to people face to face, their offices and the family members, to explain why. And if you want to hear some more of these epic rants, that's in our premium Patreon, because I just can't say it here for whatever reasons. Our compliance department will not allow me to do that, okay? But silver ETFs is supposed to be sold next week. Again, it's not financial advice for the rebalancing. That's why putting pressure on it again, okay? But that goes back to what we said in another video, when I told you that we believe that they would take the pressure out of certain trades to force assets into everything else and spec on trades of what you're seeing right now. Following up what I was just going to say about XRP ETFs, ladies and gentlemen, they're doing phenomenal. But remember, they're only trading during market hours that are open. They close. So some of the speculative moves that happen on the weekends, they're not taking advantage of it, right? So again, I made a whole presentation about why I believe XRP is a settlement asset. It's a settlement asset. I will not get involved in making price predictions, because with settlement assets, that price is probably preordained and preset somewhere else in back rooms, okay, where they're having cigars and drinking what their frosty beverage. I'm here to try to bring this Gucci clarity, okay, and try to show you the delicious smorgasbord of gourmet opportunities that are going to come from all this chaos. The one thing I learned on the floor of the New York Mercantile Exchange was how to be a financial mercenary. And I love being a financial mercenary. My whole life, I love commodities. I love the chaos. I love the confusion. I love this game. That's it. And I love trying to help people understand where this is going and why. So my enthusiasm has never been so high as it is. Why? Because as the world is changing and they're ripping out it's like remodeling a house. You're going to keep the foundation, right? So, but you're ripping everything else out. That's what's happening right now, okay? And with the loss of energy for, the brick side over there, they just got hobbled in a way for energy that you need to power the AI. I can't go on this rant right here about what you need for metals, which is spectacular, about people hysterically laughing. Some people who even dislike me for years, but they like that I work for them. They don't like me as a person. They don't have to like me. They like the services I provide to help them get where they're going. That's the most important thing in this game, right? But at the end of the day, kilowatt battle. They lost energy. We're going to have a new map right now. So truth is treason, the empire of lies. All the news coming out right now is not for your benefit or my benefit. If you know how to disseminate it to put it into play, that's for our benefit. And you follow your rules, your recce, everything, right? So XRP, G Treasury quietly just bought another company. I'm not going to botch the name. I can't even pronounce it. This company takes the audacious process of taking all written reports, and it can transcribe them like that instantaneously. Some of the big customers are Coke and some other people, but G Treasury continues to make inroads in the new world. So I believe the great financial reset has begun. And I believe now, before rip your face off rally comes, positioning is coming, right? Okay. We see good pullbacks coming here right now, so if people want to look to get involved, that's a good thing. But pay attention right here, and this is seriously important. If we have a government shutdown, is that foreign actors basically trying to stop the projection of where the U.S. stablecoins are going? Okay, is that greedy banks? Or all these people underneath the same umbrella for whatever it is? But I wouldn't believe a word they had to say, because this is about the U.S. Treasury stablecoin regime moving forward. Anything that stops that, as far as I'm concerned, well, they have an alternative agenda, okay, as far as I'm concerned, right? Will that lead to noise? Absolutely. But I believe that this gets passed in a timely fashion, because it's just what is. And I believe the rule book is thrown out the window. So, again, what a time to be alive, right? So if you want more of this, please come visit us in the premium section of our Patreon, where I'm going to be going over all this. I don't have enough time. Thank you to all the comments. We will have some videos now that are just going to be rants. We're coming out with a member section of this channel just for people who want to support, because I'm trying to get everyone involved. But I'm going to try to convey as much in a timely fashion to everybody with this. But remember, truth is treason, the empire of lies. But their lies gives us deliciousness and trading opportunities that are so delicious that if you can see the writing on the walls, it's like following the smoke signals. There they are. But again, always no throwing on mud on anybody, no doing that. I also want to say some other crypto channels have reached out. We're going to do collaboration with them. It's fantastic. Some of these guys have been in this market forever, and it's an honor to talk with them when that happens, and we like collaborating with people. But at the end of the day, don't throw mud on anybody. See, I like people that got conviction. I like people that are willing to go for broke, and they look at conviction, okay? And they know who they are if they're watching this. They got that conviction, that Gucci clarity, and they're showing you what they're doing for themselves. They don't care if you do it or not because they did it for themselves. They know it's good for their family and for themselves. They got that clarity. They know where they're going. They're not going to get cut up like sushi, okay? Because they know where they're going. And if they decide to share with you a little breadcrumb for free about the chops that they do to grind it out every day, well, you should say thank you very much because someone threw you a bone. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's America. You don't have to. You could throw it away. But as far as I'm concerned, with a remora swimming underneath what's happening, what a time to be alive, ladies and gentlemen. AI situation, the West just made some spectacular moves to solidify energy, to make sure that is going to be sold at market value. And it's phenomenal when you look at what really happened with that. Instead of going out and spending hundreds of billions of dollars and lives to rectify a situation, you surgically remove one thing and you use their own money to fix their own country. I mean, that's ridiculously amazing when you look at this from the top down, seriously. And you have just expelled the entire threat of losing the AI situation, because the AI war, ladies and gentlemen, is energy. Energy. Well, I want you to understand something. This is the moment where you need to understand exactly what's happening. The big banks are trying to choke innovation. They're trying to kill DeFi. They're trying to reopen the Genius Act, to strangle crypto before it can thrive. Do you see the pattern here? Look at history, the Industrial Revolution, the printing press, the railroads. Every time something new threatened the old guard, they fought back hard. The Dutch East India Company, the railroad tycoons, the oil barons, they all did the same thing. And that's what we're seeing today. Banks are terrified of stablecoin yields because it cuts into their profit. They don't care about innovation. They don't care about DeFi adoption. They just want to maintain control, ladies and gentlemen. Let this sink in. They want to maintain control. But here's the thing. We're not going to let them win, are we, ladies and gentlemen? XRP continues to build DeFi, continues to thrive, and the blockchain revolution cannot be stopped by fear or greed. Okay, ladies and gentlemen? You have two choices. You can be like the crowd, reacting after the move, regret. You have two choices. Be like the crowd, reacting after the move, regretting it and rationalizing why you missed it. Be the one who saw behind the curtain, understood the infrastructure shift, and positioning intentionally. History rewards the second. XRP Army, this is our moment. Don't waste this. Stablecoins, rewards, competition, global context, ladies and gentlemen. On January 7th, the American Bank Association urged the Senate to close the Genius Act loophole, allowing exchanges to offer stablecoin yields, claiming it undercuts traditional banking. Reality check. Banks earn billions in fees annually. They could raise interest rates they offer to us. They don't do that. Stablecoin rewards threaten margins, not because they hurt lending, but because they introduce real competition. Research confirms it. Charles River Associates found no significant impact on community bank deposits. Cornell University research agrees stablecoin adoption does not reduce lending. Armstrong's view, banks resist competition, not safety. History proves it. An industry that tries to choke off innovation dies or adapts. Meanwhile, China is paying interest on digital yuan, boosting adoption and positioning themselves as a global competitor. Ladies and gentlemen, take action. Protect the Genius Act and DeFi. Bottom line, protecting stablecoin rewards equals lower cost, more choice, and competitive payments for Americans. Congress must stay on the sidelines while crypto thrives. The market structure bill must not give banks control over rules that can suffocate innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, XRP is building momentum quietly, but strategically. The time to act is now. I need you to stay informed, stay ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, your engagement helps get this information in front of more people. Thank you for tuning in, liking, subscribing, and sharing your thoughts. Stay curious, stay informed. I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Always stay emotionless and watch XRP closely. This could be a defining moment. Ladies and gentlemen, if you made it this far, I really do appreciate you. Taking this back up when we had our map, and I love this time of the year because it allows us to get ready for all the the trading and positions and all the excitement for this year. It's my favorite time, right? And what I was taught on the floor of the Mercantile Exchange and what I said about spec season, spec on, off, and option plays and everything, right? And you'll hear me come to rant, and everyone in the premium section are going to see this, and that I love cocoa. I love certain things to trade because it makes beautiful sense. See, I love commodities. Crypto's a commodity now, right now. So from my first rant, and what I'm going to say right now is, ladies and gentlemen, there's not enough metal in the ground to do half the things that everybody wants to talk about. I can't sit here and tell you every rant and rave that I was talking about, but there's just not. And why the move in Venezuela was so financially spectacular and decisive in a way, and I'm not harboring about war, but it cut off crude energy in a way that's going to be forced to be sold at market price right now. It starves our adversaries, and they're not our friends. They're our adversaries. They started this in October, okay? That's when gold first did its move. They started this, right? Don't start something in finance you can't finish, right? That's trading over leverage. Don't do that. Have a plan, right? People thought that, there's another thing I heard on the floor. Don't bring the scary business to me. That's when people would put on trades that was so massive, and they would say, don't bring the scary business to me. Don't be doing that. Never, ever bring the scary business to me, okay? I learned to live by these rules. Without energy and cheap crude oil imports, their AI sector is doomed. Their kilowatt battle, they got hobbled. They got annihilated. I don't know how you recover from that, bottom line. You can hoard all the metals you want, but you're not going to be able to fuel that without cheap energy. Will they build more coal processing facilities? Maybe. But the world lives on petroleum right now. Okay? If you want more actionable trade intelligence, please come and join us in the premium section where I go over all this and our team throughout our global offices, right? But ladies and gentlemen, remember, truth is treason, the emperor of lies. They don't tell you anything that's going to help you. It's going to help them, right? And again, this year is going to be one of the most transformational situations in finance in our lifetime. I salute everybody who's in the XRP army who has the courage to call it as it is. I salute every crypto influencer that came way before us that had the courage and the tenacity to keep saying what was right, even when the world told them that they were wrong. I salute everybody in the XRP army that continues to not lose their Gucci conviction to understand where the world is going, because they don't want everyone getting rich the same way they want everyone to do what they told, which they want to do what they want, but they want you to do what you're told. Financial freedom is the most important thing. People came to a certain space for financial freedom, for social mobility. We believe truly that crypto offers one of the last hopes for financial mobility in a world where they're trying to lock everybody down. So if you haven't lost that conviction, I salute you. And we look forward to working with these other creators and influencers for different things. The same way I look forward to seeing everybody here right now. But always remember, ladies and gentlemen, this content is for information and entertainment purposes only. Do your own research and consult a licensed financial advisor before making investment decisions. The game is changing. Those who understand it first will benefit the most. You have two choices. Be like the crowd reacting after the move. Be the one who saw behind the curtain, understood the shift, and positioned intentionally. This is not the end of the story. This is just the beginning. This opened your eyes. Smash that like button. Ring the bell. Leave a comment with your thoughts. We break down the major global banking trends, shaping digital assets today, giving you context, clarity, and research you can use. Don't just watch history happen. Stay informed, stay ahead, stay in the Republic. We love you, everybody. Stay strong. Stay in the wolf pack.